Hey, welcome back to Carson News. Today we're doing another NFL predictions video. Today we are going the second team in the AFC South. We are doing the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are a pretty strange team because they have lots of talent, and you saw that. I mean, especially in the playoffs, whenever they beat the Patriots, and then they beat the Ravens, and then they nearly beat the Chiefs, who went on to win the Super Bowl. But you've also got to ask yourself, was that kind of like a Nick Foles moment for Ryan Tannehill? Because what I mean by that is, you've seen how well he played for the Eagles whenever he came in the last second, like in the last couple of games, and led them to the playoffs, sometimes to the Super Bowl. He won one. And but when he actually starts, when he's actually in there from the beginning, he's not that good. And you also got to look at what Ryan Tannehill looked like when he was on the Dolphins. He didn't look nearly as good as he was on the Titans. So I got to wonder, is he gonna start playing worse once he starts this season, or is he gonna stay the same? I'm gonna predict this season like he stays the same, and they're still the same team that beat the Ravens last year and almost made it to the Super Bowl, and probably would have almost won the Super Bowl. So yeah, they're probably gonna be pretty good. I mean, they've got a great wide receiver unit. They got a great tight end unit, man. They got A.J. Brown on the wide receiver unit. They got Jonnu Smith on that tight end unit, and not to mention they've got Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league, in my opinion. And on defense, their linebackers are great. Their defensive linemen are pretty good. Their whole front seven is pretty great. And then in that secondary, I mean, they've got like Malcolm Butler. They've got Kevin Byard. This is a talented team all around. So they're definitely going to be, in my opinion, pretty close to being Super Bowl contenders. But we're going to have to see. I haven't predicted all this. Their schedule looks to be seemingly pretty easy. I mean, they play like Jacksonville, Denver, Jacksonville twice, of course, Detroit, Cincinnati, Chicago, and again, like the Bengals aren't bad. I'm just comparing them to this team, so they're gonna have a pretty easy schedule. Let's see if they can. Let's see if they can take advantage of that. So in Week 1 on Monday night, they head over to the Denver Broncos. They head over to Denver on the last game in Week 1, probably, unless they have like Tuesday Night Football, which they don't. And then and the Denver Broncos, if they are going to be good, it is going to be towards the end of the season, and it's going to be next year. I think that Drew Lock will eventually become a pretty good quarterback, but I don't think he's just magically going to become a good quarterback in Week 1. And yes, they've got like Phillip Lindsay. They've got talent on that team, but I don't think it's good enough to beat the Titans in Week 1. So I think the Titans get a win here in Week 1. And then in Week 2, they go up against Jacksonville. And this is a team, I mean, Gardner Minshew, man, he had a few games last year where he looked good, but he kind of got worse as the season goes on. But I think that Jacksonville could, if Gardner shows up in this game like he did in the beginning of last year, this could really be a competition. But right now, I'm just going to say that the Titans take this one. In Week 3 up against Minnesota, this is the first game that I really think this will be a close one, a good one to watch. Minnesota at home here, they've got, even with the loss of Stephon Diggs, they've still got talent all around their team. I'm just wondering, is it going to be enough to get past this tough Tennessee defense? And I don't know if their defense is good enough to really stop the Titans, so I'm going to hand this one over to the Titans here. Starting off with a 3-game win streak, and then they don't go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh comes to them. And I know I always talk about how, Big Ben, he's a old broken man, but they do have lots of talent, and I think they can win this game. This is a spoiler in my opinion. I think they could come out of nowhere and beat the Titans. Another very close game. The Titans are probably going to be the underdog in this one up against the Bills. The Bills have an insane defense. The Bills have an amazing offense. I think they're both better than the Titans, and therefore I'm going to hand this one over to the Bills. A 2-game losing streak. Then in Week 6, I think you'll probably split with Houston. So I'll give you the win here since you're at home, and then just know in Week 17 you're gonna lose to Houston. All right, and then in Week 7 you get your bye week. You're 4-2. You're probably, I don't remember what the Texans were, but you're probably fighting for top of your division. Might actually be winning your division, depending on what the Colts are doing. And then in Week 8, you go to Cincinnati, and I think Joe Burrow. I think this is like the first game where he really clicks in, and I think they get the win here surprisingly. And I mean, it's kind of a surprise here. So you're 4-3, and then you go into Chicago, and I mean, Chicago's kind of in the same position. I mean, you saw last year the Dolphins. They had a mad team. They had like Kenyon Drake on that team. He was a pretty good running back. And they had Josh Rosen and Ryan Fitzpatrick, two, in my opinion, backup quarterbacks trying to start. You look at Chicago, they've got an okay running back, and either you could say Tariq Cohen is a pretty good running back. And then you also look, they got Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles, two, in my opinion, backup quarterbacks on there. And I don't think there's any way that they beat the Titans here. All right, and also ignore Week 18. That's the playoffs. I haven't even predicted the Colts record yet. And then in Week 10, going up against the Colts, I don't know, Philip Rivers, he's gone from the Chargers to the Colts. Both of them have some pretty good weapons. He'll probably play better on the Colts, in my opinion. I know he's getting older, and I know he's getting worse. But I think this will be kind of like a boost to his career. But still, I don't think that they can beat the Titans at home. I'm not going to say they're splitting just yet. I'll have to wait and see what I think in Week 12. But right now, seeing as the Titans are at home, it's in Thursday Night Football, I'm going to give this one to the Titans. In Week 11, the rematch. We've got the Titans against the Ravens. This is, it'll be interesting to see if maybe the Ravens can take back the crown against the Titans, and I think they will. 8-0 already. I mean, you cannot pick a fault with the Ravens. I mean, they have just an amazing team all around. You saw it last year. They're probably going to, in my opinion, I haven't even done my predictions yet. They are very, very, very high on every single NFL fan's Super Bowl contenders list. If you've been watching football since last year, you know that the Ravens are the real deal. Now they're 6-4, probably fighting with the Texans for the division. They go into Indianapolis. And at this point, I think Indianapolis is probably starting to fall behind in the race. They probably need to win this one to kind of jump back up. And I'm just going to have the Titans sweep them. That really probably helps the Titans out here in their division. So they swept the Colts. And now they go over, and Cleveland comes down. They're at home again, going up against Cleveland. And Cleveland does have a lot of talent. I know they underperformed last year. That had a lot to do with the play calling, new head coach this year. They will definitely be better than they were last year. But I don't know. They will have to take a huge boost, almost be as good as they were 2 years ago, to make this a pretty close game. But I'm going to hand this one over to the Titans here just because they're not looking like a team that could do that. And then in Week 14, I'm sorry, but they're going to have to sweep Jacksonville. I don't see them splitting. I mean, if I had them sweep the Colts, I'm going to definitely have them sweep the Jaguars. Dang, 0-6. I feel kind of bad because I don't think about other teams' records when I'm doing this, which I guess is good. And they got a pretty easy streak here. I don't see them losing to Detroit either. So I think at this point they have a pretty hard stranglehold on the division. So they go into Green Bay. Pretty tough one. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. I almost forgot that the Packers were in the conference championship last year. They almost made the Super Bowl last year. And I just think the Packers are probably better than the Titans at this point. Aaron Rodgers, as always, is great. And they've got an amazing team around them. And, well, I guess they don't give him too many weapons, but so this is definitely could be a Titans win, but I'm going to give this one to Green Bay. And then I already said the outcome of this one. They're going to lose this one, and they're going to win their division. Doesn't matter. If they had won this, doesn't matter. They probably throw it. Well, I don't know why they would throw it. But, yeah, so they lose that one. And then in the playoffs, as long as, well, I guess we still got a whole 6 more teams in the AFC to do. But everything stays the same. They'll get a rematch a week later. 10-6 is the final record. Now, let's do worst case scenario. This is as bad as it can get. I don't think that there's... This is like Ryan Tannehill completely just collapses. They're like begging for Marcus Mariota to be back, basically. Derrick Henry strongly underperforms. Every other team takes a huge leap forward. I still don't see them losing either of these two games, but they could lose this game against Minnesota. They could be swept by Houston. They could lose. Well, nah, they could lose this game. And really, I think 7-9 is as low as I'm. Well, yeah, 7-9 is as low as I'm willing to go on them. I don't think that they could go 6-10 or lower. I think 7-9 isn't that bad if you ask me. I mean, I'm a Washington football team fan. I would love for us to go 7-9. But right now, I don't. I just think that, and again, I'm not saying that this is likely. I'm just saying I think this is as low as it's possible. I don't see them losing any of the 7 games I have them winning here. All right, let's put them back. Let's give them their wins back, shall we? 10-6 again. Now, this is their best case scenario. They take a huge leap forward. They're doing amazing. They beat Pittsburgh. I don't see them winning here. They beat Tennessee, and I say they sweep Houston. And 13-3 is as high as I'm willing to say that they go. I don't see them winning against the Ravens, the Bills, or the Packers. Even though they beat the Ravens last year, does not mean they're a better team than the Ravens. So from 7-9 to 13-3, I think 7-9 is the highest worst case scenario that I've had yet. And keep in mind, I've done 17 of. I've done a lot of these teams. I've done 17 other teams, and they have the highest. I don't know what the Ravens will be. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Someone please help me. So I think they lost. No, they didn't lose there. They lost here. So sometimes it's really hard to do this. And they lost against Cincinnati. Back to 10-6. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, you. I'm looking directly into my camera, even though my camera isn't on. I'm talking to you. You can go to playoffpredictors.com. You can do your own. You can do the whole season, and you can send it to me using a permalink, and I will react to it. If I get at least 5 of them, and I'm talking either you like send me like 5 different scenarios or something, or you can go on Instagram. You can take a screenshot of one of these. If you want to do it like on your phone or something, send it to me or post it on Instagram, tag me in it, and I will react to that. If I get at least 5 of them, or really even like 3, I will make a whole video reacting to them. So yeah, all the links are in the description. I'm trying to start a podcast. I have a Patreon down there if you want to help me start a podcast, so you can hear even more of my terrible predictions. And by the way, this is going out to one person. I don't sub for sub. All right. See you in the next one. By the way, I was already subbed to you anyways.